Yo,
Hey Jack, can you hear me?
I can.
Is my audio okay?
Yep.
Okay, this is the same issue that I had last weekend. I'm using the mute button on my headset, and this time it seems to work okay. Anyway,
Isn't
I'm
that
still in the
special?
kitchen. I'm going to migrate to the machine in a few seconds. I just want to make sure that we're starting at least on time and you are early, I think.
I generally try to be early.
Yep. You know, at work, I'm usually the one to try and get people to say, don't set your alarm at 8 o'clock, if your meeting starts at 8. And man, people still don't seem to get that. Okay, I'm almost there. All right, let me turn on my camera, set it up properly. By the way, I know on Sundays you have words meeting at 9 o'clock. What do you have
Yep.
on Saturdays?
Uh, Technically nothing,
Okay,
but I like to start my breakfast.
sure. Makes sense. All right, let me check, make sure my camera works okay. The video settings, settings. Oh, Zoom changed their UI. The settings button is in a different place now.
Yep.
Still getting
There are
used to it.
more.
Well, on my desktop, they've now put everything into a left, control bar, vertical control bar. So the
Oh,
settings is at the bottom.
you're on what, a PC or something else?
I'm on a tower that's running Linux.
Oh, well,
Yes.
so I'm on a Mac and all of the stuff is still on the bottom. Although it may be I can change it to set on the side, but it's on the bottom.
Okay. All right. Looks like my camera is set up now, so I can turn that on. All right. There we go.
Uh,
All right. How's your week been, Jack?
oh, the battery in my Prius died. Actually, though, it's I replaced it in 2020, and so it's not a surprise. The interesting
Oh,
thing is that it's a 2017 Prius, and I bought it in 2019, and the battery died in 2020. So it must have had a cheap battery in it. I don't understand that. But the new battery that the Toyota dealer put in um, has a 3 and 3 warranty. 3 years is 100%. And then it'll go to 6 years at prorate where it died, and it rated it at 5 years. So I got a 25% discount on the new one, which put it back in the price range where I used to buy Sears diehards that would run forever.
wait, hang on. The Prius, unlike an ICE, not the deportation ICE, has fewer moving parts, right? So technically, they don't have to fail as often or as badly. So the big thing in hybrids and EVs is the battery, right?
Well,
So
so on a Prius, there are two batteries. There's one called the traction battery, which is a gigantic um, uh, flat pile of cells under the back seat. And then there's 12-volt car battery. And on a Prius, to keep it lighter, they use a smaller battery. In all modern cars now, there's computers and all kinds of shit going on. So if you don't drive it every week, at least once a week, the battery's going to go dead. And that was my first event was that I didn't drive it 2 weeks and it went dead, so I had to buy a battery charger and charge it up. But then it went dead again, and that time it was unsavable. And this time I put it on charger overnight and woke up the next morning and it was still 7.5 volts. For a 12-volt battery, that means three cells were dead.
Yeah, in fact, I just recently encountered, not recently, like within the last year, encountered a need which I have not yet filled to think about getting a trickle charger for my car in the garage.
Yeah, well, that's what I bought. Is it's
Yeah,
it's a trickle charger.
yeah, yeah. Okay. But once you actually replace the battery in a Prius, it theoretically performs like new again, right? Because there's
Oh
very
yeah.
little else that can go wrong, right?
Yeah, for the next 5 years. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but that's a decent price. So how much for it to last another 5 years?
Uh, this time it came in at $219.
Wait. So that's not the big set of batteries behind the car. That's
No,
just
those
the
are
yeah, yeah.
3,000.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
and
I see. All right. I get it. Well, I think
the
those
in
big
the
battery.
in
Sorry.
the California state requirement on the big battery is 8 years or 100,000 miles. And I've gone more than 100,000 now, and we're right at the 2017 to 2025 is 8 years. So it's Jeff Conklin had a Prius, and he did replace the battery, and it cost him 3,000. And he replaced the inverter as well, and that cost him even more. And still, his car just crapped out.
Oh, so crapped
So he
out,
gave
not due
it
to the
just
battery then.
no, not due to the battery,
Okay.
but so he donated it to the local uh, public radio affiliate and bought another car.
Cars for kids. So would you recommend then? Because I've kind of stayed away from it, but would you recommend? Because I used to believe that replacing the hybrid battery was more than $3,000.
Oh, it's 3,000.
So if it's only 3,000 and you get a hybrid, it's not a pure EV, so there's advantages to that.
Well, 60 miles a gallon on the road is nothing to sneeze at. And
I
if I
know.
if I if I drive behind a tractor trailer and just let the cruise control hold me behind it, I on a mountain road with ups and downs like you can't believe, I got 82 miles per gallon.
Going up and down, that's impressive.
Yes.
Okay. So in other words, you think it still makes sense. I have not
Oh,
really been
Christ,
considering it.
yes. It's amazing to me. They built the Volt, and they were the people that followed Prius. Now, in the old days, Prius was this little dinky little tin car that
Yep.
I remember seeing the first one in Palo Alto, and I thought, shit, I'd never buy that. And now Prius has grown up to be a really, really nice car, although it's pretty expensive. Chevy came out with the Volt, it was $39,000, and it was a plug-in hybrid. You could plug it in overnight at your house and top it up. What I got was not a plug-in. Now, the plug-in, there are plug-in Priuses as well. And Prius has kind of gone nuts, and now they have four-wheel drive and a bunch of other shit on them that lowers their mileage. But the plain old Prius, now I would like to have a plug-in Prius because I don't like getting up in the morning and having the traction battery uh, not fully charged.
Yeah.
I try to arrive home with it fully charged, but frequently you come home and it's in, you're running on the battery when you're in the neighborhood, so it drains it down a bit.
Hmm.
But Jim Sporer tells me that he gets 100 miles per gallon on his Prius, so I presume that he's got a
Wow.
plug-in. And I do actually think it's possible to get 100 miles per gallon. I know, for example, on a very short run, coming home from the market, I'll get 120 miles per gallon. But it was basically battery all the way.
Sure. Then gallon doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And and then Chevy dropped the Volt. But lately, the Car and Driver magazine says it's the hybrids are the future because people don't trust the road range
Yeah.
of the V's,
Exactly.
and nobody I know wants to own except Sonny. Nobody I know wants to own a Tesla, even though Tesla's coming out with a $25,000 model. I don't think that's
Don't
going to
believe
save
them.
it.
They've been lying about prices ever since they were created. They said the Cybertruck was going to cost 40,000 when they announced it. Yeah, well, the reason I stayed
But
away from the Volt is because it had no range.
yeah, well, the my Prius. Okay, when I bought the Prius, it keeps its computer keeps its internal history. And when I bought the Prius, a full tank was worth 490 miles.
Sure,
And
that
now,
makes sense with a hybrid. But the
yeah,
Volt,
and
did you look at the mileage? I mean, the range of the Volt? It's less than 3 digits.
so I didn't know that. Yeah, are you sure you're not talking about the Bolt?
It was a Nissan Volt, right? Whatever
Yeah.
model Nissan came up with. Yeah. No, it had two models. One had less than a 100-mile range, and the other had slightly more, I think, than a 100-mile range. One of my friends actually bought it, very happy with it, but they lived in Menlo Park and commuted to Sunnyvale, so that was no problem. I had much further to go, so that was not going to sustain me.
So I didn't know that about a Volt, but they're a really nice looking car and solid.
Yep,
But
we got Heiner.
so the thing is that if you buy the regular Prius, you get batteries that are not lithium ion. And so their charge density isn't nearly what it is. But if you get the plug-in hybrid, you get the lithium ions. Now you can upgrade a regular Prius to the lithium ion, and there are kits you can buy that will turn it into a plug-in Prius. But again, now you're talking several $1,000s, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there.
Well, my son just bought a Toyota plug-in hybrid less than a year ago. It's
Yeah,
the Toyota. It looks like the RAV4, but it's a plug-in hybrid. So it's a very
yeah.
well-regarded car. He seems to be pretty happy with it in San Francisco.
My sister bought a Corolla hybrid, and her son easily gets 60 miles per gallon in
Mhm.
it. So uh, I think that that hybrids are, if everybody went hybrid, we would have far less CO2 issues in the atmosphere.
But and Heiner, I want to welcome you and get you to check in. But what I am appalled at is there are some big muscle car makers like SUV makers that put hybrid models out there, and
I
they're
know.
rated at what, 35, 37 miles per gallon, and it's like, what's the point there? Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah.
why get a muscle car, put a hybrid in there, and then actually sell it based on the MPG? You're not
It,
buying that for the
it,
MPG.
no, you're
Yeah,
buying an advertisement for your smokiness.
yeah. Anyway, all right, Header, willkommen Sie.
Well, don't, I will not make proposals or recommendations for such devices. I welcome you. I really enjoy this very, how do you say, cozy, nice, very intimate session with Jack and Sam. I also very much enjoyed, and also Jörg enjoyed the short encounter, and I felt on the level or quality of Jörg, I would like to maybe tomorrow introduce Franz Narada, Global Village, did all this early work and also knew Duck and was around with me. I was even part of his global village environment. And as I thought about him because he just released a new film on visionary small settlements. So his movement around the global village network, Heiner, and now he is in a small village at the boundary to Slovenia, to also be in half an hour to Ljubljana. He is one of my old friends around the Equinox Earth Day and many other things, and an Apple veteran and whatever, alternative living structures and communities. I was talking to him yesterday. That's why it came to mind. I could invite him for um, tomorrow, same time, our session on Sunday. And I will invite him to tell him to maybe talk for 10 minutes, 15 minutes on what it is. But you might also have some questions if you just Google him, or I maybe put 2 or 3 links into the chat. Have you heard about his name already?
Was ist Ihnen ganze Name?
Franz Narada,
Narada?
Narada, yes.
Okay, we can look him
Global
up.
Village. So he's been a hotelier and a rich father, traveled the world, ended up with Apple in California.
Wait, is it Franz or Hans?
Franz
Franz?
Narada. I
Franz
sent some
Narada.
links. It is just a question. Think about it. I will stay a little bit online. And the other thing I wanted to say, Jack, I was really, really surprised. I found out that we communicated 20 years ago when I did with Kremers and the co-data, ICSO co-data, Conference on Data for Science and Technology, did this generalization workshop here in Berlin, 100 meters from me in the hotel. And you were part of it, or you communicated with me, and I just had forgotten, but I remembered your name. You see, we have somehow writing memory also. And what you responded on generalization and harmonization, and your background on spatial or GIS or whatever was really surprising me. So you are much deeper and really transversed, or whatever you would call it in English, than I had thought. So anyway, and I'm happy to be with you, and I don't think we need anyone else in our um little circle.
I do remember my first encounter with you. I don't remember any of the details. I just remember thinking, my God, this guy is traveling the same orbit I am. And I figured, you know, but I don't know why we got separated, but that's the way it was.
Well, it's been my mistake. I followed up and I didn't answer your communication, but this is our multi-track Babel, I think you say in English, world where we need unifying visions and overview and orientation, and not just all these people, vanities, celebrities with their overclaims and oversimplifications. So that is my, how do you say, drive, journey, odyssey at the moment. And coming back to France, he is really not that fellow, common friend um, who really has the same background like me, not only on Equinox Earth Day, but planning villages, data, technology. And if you found him, it is great. If not, I send
I'm
you
it's
your
I'm
video.
I'm already getting emails. I got an email from him this morning, uh, apologizing for being offline for a while. It's the Global Village newsletter, and so
Yeah,
I
so
was
you are
aware of
all
it.
the same in the same crowd or clan or tribe. This is fantastic. And you, Sam, did you ever encounter France?
No, I have not come across Franz Narada previously.
Do you
Narada is what I'm finding.
I'll send his profile.
do you want me to forward to you his the email?
Yes.
Well, I've got globalvillages.org popped up right now, so I did find him. I didn't find him
Okay,
under NARADA, but I did find him under NAHRADA.
that's correct.
Okay,
I got
yes.
it.
I'm bad in spelling. But you see, we have a common history on acrosanti and alternative communities.
My God, Arco Santi.
I haven't heard that
Yes,
word since elementary school
That goes way back. Yes.
I was
or
there
middle
in
school,
the
something
early
like that.
foundational days uh, on my trip back to New York from Berkeley, and we in a hippie bus went there, and another friend of mine has been just reporting to me what this community is doing now. It is still alive, but definitely these followers, these disciples, are not from the age like Franz and me. So see him and Equinox Earth Day and many other things. He's doing postcasts, he's everything. He was wealthy all his life, but now he sold the hotel uh, from his family since long in Vienna, Floridsdorf, because he had to split somehow with his sister, and the son of the sister couldn't manage or buy, so they sold out this filet place in Floridsdorf. That's in Vienna across the Danube. There it is a history of socio-cultural village community development. So he is one of the nuggets, and I was told by Nora Herberstein to care for him. So I was part of his community, and we did a lot of things in Vienna. But I don't want to monologue. I just wanted to propose. If you're ready, I will try to make sure he's available, even if he says he's not available.
You hear that? Alexa reminding me to take my medication.
Yes. I also have to do that nowadays. But I just continue listening to you. I'm learning so much.
I am going, by the way, I did look up globalvillages.org. I couldn't get it to load. I tried several times. And I did find a live blog in Apple Podcasts. So I've got that bookmarked. And what you say about intentional small communities, futurist utopian communities, especially Arcosanti, leads me to think, are you also familiar with Jacques Fresco and his efforts in Florida?
Yes, but you see, we also did this McLuhan track, and so there are so many commonalities. So I would like to postpone for tomorrow, same time.
Sure. Yeah, please do invite him. And if Jörg did enjoy last week's discussion, what's his interest in possibly joining us in perhaps even more focused conversations or smaller breakouts?
Yes, he's much more busy than me because I'm a solitary in my ivory tower, and he's a few years younger, so he's still active on the deck. So I'm more the admiral than the captain, and he's still ruling his useful planet and Earthbeat and concerts and whatever he is doing. So he has to really, really focus. But I feel with such quality people here in this very special Zoom conversations on weekends, it would be worthwhile to really bridge the experience of Jack to Europe and the world with some other people.
So if I may step back meta, wait, where did Hunter go? Is Hunter still here? Okay,
He's,
yes, Heiner is still
well,
here. Okay,
he just went on mute. Probably had to take his pills or something.
so Jack, when I was first encountering serious conversations in 2011, and then got connected with, hey, there's Kayla. So let me ask this question, and then let's ask Kayla to check in. So I encountered serious conversations and Doug Carmichael and that group, and that was 2011 February. Then in 2012, the second of the Knowledge Federation conferences happened, which I think I think Malin and you and Dino and David Price and that's when I got to know that particular crowd much
That
better.
was when you
And
met
then
Yazur, right?
exactly. And then a couple of years after that, I don't remember exactly which year, I met Alexander Laszlo. And I don't know if you recall the story, but when I found out about him, I cold called him. We had no introduction. Nobody actually introduced him to me to him, whatever. I just found out about him and I just called him. So anyway, that
Hmm.
hooked me into Alexander's network. And I was always wondering, for people who are trying to look at the future and try to think about the future and how we actually collaborate together, it was always interesting to me from a probabilistic and statistical standpoint, which should reveal a little bit about the breadth of the community here, is how frequently these intersections happen. And I've noticed in the last few years that these intersections have been less frequent, which is possibly good, possibly not good. Okay. Because it indicates something about how many small networks there are, like Next Now, like, Program for the Future, like Knowledge Federation, like Serious Conversations, how many such little clumps of people there are, and then how they manage to intersect each other. And if there is growth, then you can sort of see the intersection points. If you plot them on a line, there'd be a lot, maybe, there'd be a few, maybe. I don't really know how to predict. But over time, there's a behavior to it. Over time, there's kind of a degradation in the frequency of these interconnections because they've mostly interconnected already. So I kind of expected a ramp up and then a ramp down. So I experienced a ramp up. I've experienced a ramp down, and I don't know yet how to project from that the community of future thinkers slash, people who want to collaborate together to create a better future. But if I were better probabilistically and statistically, I'd be able to make some educated deductions about the size of the community. But I was wondering if you two had thought about that, because I'm also curious in whether or not we've reached kind of a threshold. And is this enough to cross that 1% or 3% or 10% threshold for actually making an impact? And I ask this as part of Collaborology, part of Program for the Future, part of Community of Impact, part of just this kind of musing and sense making for what this community could represent and how we reach out and how we actually establish some sort of co-creation of the future. So I don't know if you guys understand the question. That's about as well as I can phrase it in real time. I've been thinking about this, but I've never actually expressed it ever before. So anyway, I wanted to pose that question. I want to welcome Kayla, see if Kayla wants to check in, and then whether any of you guys want to react to that question. Over.
I'd like to jump in before Kayla. You see, we are really one. This issue on seeing the deeper connections and embodying and living that is actually my deeper drive. When you speak about intersection points, then you are already wrong or on the wooden way. I think it has to be intersection fields or spaces or common frames of references, like we called it. And this is actually, well, I'm presently, besides in my archives, the father of Alexander Laszlo. I was just scanning
Yes.
books. So they're
Yeah.
here on my table. It's one of the first reports of the Club of Rome's goals in a global community. He was with Bela Banasi and his son Antal and Asilomar doing the twin things with us in Fuschel with the IFSR and ISSS. So whatever you say, Sam, it's so much resonating in the deep with me. And I met Alexander in Asilomar and we had very weird, strange encounters. Well, this alone would be a long story, but I'm having him on my table on various levels in connection with the Bertalanffy Center, with the encyclopedia and whatever we do. And I don't know even why I'm speaking about this so openly, but I find the synchronicity and our challenges, but also possibilities with Alexander. Erwin Laszlo is now getting very, very old, very much retiring. So we should really actually meet in Berlin and then at the new Club of Budapest or whatever it's called now to see how this thinking and doing is not lost. And I think we have to be, or we have to do tanks, not just think tanks. And I'm tired of all the think tanks. So anyway, um, maybe we should also ask Alexander to join us because I have some serious, difficult questions for him. And I think
Alexander
it
used to
can
be a
have.
regular here on Sundays, by the way, Heiner,
Okay.
for
So
years.
we try to give it a revisit because in whatever he's doing now with some friends in Ljubljana and everywhere else, really connects. And so maybe you really have to come to my community there in the sea space with the Chinese writing on the wall.
I saw the pictures. Thank you. By the way, is it true that Irwin is now in Italy? Isn't that where he lives
Yes.
now?
Yes. He's still
Yeah.
living in his villa since 40 years or even longer. But his Club of Budapest, New Age, think visionary, um, what Akasha Chronic and whatever endeavors is with his other exercises in I forgot the town. It's close to him, opposite to Slovenia in on the Italian front. And the history, I wonder, with Alexander and his brother, how the empire will continue. So, I mean, when there is an eulogy and we have to see what is left from the legacy of uh, Erwin Laszlo. But you see, I'm fumbling. I know very little and understand even less.
I
Quick
believe Alexander
question.
just let his father publish a book 1 or 2 years ago. So they actually are still publishing. So there's still some activity there. But sorry, Jack, you wanted to
Oh,
say? And
sure.
then Kayla is still waiting to check in.
But
Yes,
what
there
year
do
was
that.
it?
And
What
the 100 other books of Irvin need some more time.
what year was the Silmar that you went?
I invited also James Rose, and it might be 1997 or 1998.
Hmm.
I need to check it out.
I and it was an ISSS event. Yeah, I was there.
This is really funny. Antal and Bela both invited me. Bela's wife was ill, so he had very little time. But really, Antal,
By Bella, you mean
nearby.
Bello Bertolante?
Hmm?
By Bella, you mean Bertolante?
We are talking about Bela Banasi. with Fuschel all the years with IFSR and ISSS.
Yeah, I don't know these
Mhm.
people.
No, a talk with Barbara Vogel with the Patterns newsletter and everything, which happened at this very crucial Asilomar meeting in the group, in my exercises with Alexander and my magic round tables, and the whole thing directly after we founded Club of Budapest. So anyway, please, Kayla, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I apologize that I'm late. I actually made arroz caldo, which is the Filipino version of congee. I know you're familiar with congee, Sam. You made it for
I
me
want
one day.
breakfast.
So it
Thanks,
actually is really good, and I'm trying not to eat all of it before the kids wake up.
the key to that is what are all the other small dishes you're putting around that that's the key, right?
Let's see. This one is made with chicken ginger. It's very ginger heavy. It's got garlic, and that's pretty much it. So
Do
you can
you
put
use
a
the
boiled egg in there too. But yeah, it's like porridge. It's soggy rice.
yep.
It's so good right now, and it's a
What
comfort food, and it's usually served during breakfast.
By the way, what Kayla and I are talking about is something I grew up with in Taiwan, which is a Taiwanese breakfast, but other people eat it as well. But in Taiwan, we used to have like pickled vegetables, like pickled lettuce, pickled cucumbers. We used to have like chili, marinated tofu. We used to have like mustard greens, uh, and shredded dry pork. Some people call it pork floss. It's a weird word, but there's like 20 or 30 things you can put into this. Oh, even peanuts. And so anyway, that's how I grew up as a kid, eating that for breakfast. So when Kayla talks about that, that takes me back to when I was, 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah,
Sorry for the
it's
digression.
it's a really good dish too when you're sick or when it's rainy outside. It's just, the top of the line comfort food.
Yeah, kind
Um,
of the equivalent of chicken soup, right?
I'm sorry?
It's kind of like the equivalent of chicken soup when people make
Yeah,
chicken soup saying, "Hey, you got a cold? Let me make you some chicken soup."
yeah. It's like that. But
Yeah.
I've been I kind of understood what you said, Sam, sort of kind of. It was and I have a couple of thoughts about that. And it's kind of piggybacking of what Heiner was saying about how you're tired of think tanks. And I too am tired of people who come to the table with their thoughts. I think it's great. But we definitely need more doers. And in my committee over at my job, I had just resolved to say, you know what, I'm not going to ask for opinions or I'm going to assign things. And so the dynamic changed within my committee as soon as I started doing that. And I felt as if there was like, an aliveness to my meeting. And I think, there's a few of us who can truly lead, a few of us who can give solid ideas. But most people, I think, have this expectation of doing things. Or wanting to do things. They just don't have a direction or the opportunity. So that's what I noted in my space. Another thing that I had noted in my life is that my son is going into a dance competition next week or next weekend, and 2 maybe 3 weeks ago he was involved in another competition. So there's been back to back dance practices. He's coming across a 7 hour practice today, a 7 hour practice tomorrow, 3 hours every day up until Saturday during the weekday, along with school. And I did not voice my concern until yesterday. And I had finally, said something to my son, who then had interrupted me and said that he and his dance group were talking about it too. They're unprepared. Their set isn't finished. they're burnt out. They don't feel like the consistencies are there with the coaches that are showing up. And one of them in particular had said to Max, "Hey, you think your mom can stick up for us?" So I'm now the parent who actually says something. And I know I'm not the only one to have these concerns. I mean, I should have said something in the very beginning when I saw that we've got 3 competitions within 2 months, which is very ambitious. And we're talking about high school kids, right? Most adults would not be able to do that. And asking kids to do that while going to school is not really good, especially when school and education really should be their priority. And so I finally said something. But the funny part is, not too many people had said something. Well, nobody said anything after that. I posted it on the group chat with a bunch of parents. About 4 people liked it. 2 people gave me side conversations about their concern, but nobody said anything. And so I find that very curious that I feel that only a few of us, again, are stuck with the task of these difficult conversations, raising these difficult conversations, while the rest of the world is worried to say it and will allow people like myself to bring things difficult up. But when it comes down to it, it really is, I am trying to take care of my son. I'm trying to take care of the kids, the community. And I've yet to just wonder why not too many people will speak up on that matter. And so the good thing about being the black sheep of the family, the odd woman out, is I'm very used to these difficult conversations. I don't mind speaking my mind. I will always speak my mind. And once I become a mother, I definitely spoke my mind. So it's an honor to be the adult that the kids can lean to and say, "Hey, you think your mom can talk?" The coach, because no other adults are saying anything. And so, anyway, that is my check-in. I see there has been some things in the chat, and I'll leave it up to you guys to say your responses, add to it, or not.
Okay, I'll go. I think there are diametrically opposed, widely held two notions of leadership, but the majority of the world thinks of only one of them, as in the exercise of power, the ability to influence and command, whereas a very opposed notion of leadership, and this goes all the way back to Taoism, is that the leader is one who serves the people, but can actually provide some focus. And that person isn't doing it from ego, isn't doing it from the need to command, the need to wield power. But that notion of leadership is not widely held here in the US. That's my reaction to what you said. I think when you actually are able to distill what a community is thinking or feeling, but doesn't yet have the clarity or the courage to put it forth, express it, and represent it and champion it, then a leader who can do that emerges. And that's the right notion for leadership. But one who
Perfect,
says,
Sam.
yeah, what? Yeah, go ahead.
Sam, perfect. I always say lead, follow, or get out of the way. And that means rotation. When you plan a caravan through the desert, they called me Lawrence, and I was a Mutawa with a long beard. Well, I got to shave anyway. No, anyway, it is very important that you take your ego out. When you lead, you can also follow. And that's why we started at Expo 2000 this youth organization. global youth and youth leaders. And this thinking is very dear and deep to my heart because we started with an NGO in the beginning of the Expo 2000 called Positive Networks. And net with double T means nice and kind and serving. And out of this group, um, some youth started. The guy behind was Eric Schneider, one of my whatever assistants, helper. He was working also all summer at Expo 2000, a teacher, German studying in Australia. So with him, we started Positive News, Youth Views. And then after 8 or 10 years, the discussion was it should be called Youth Leader. And he did a Youth Leader magazine. And we did this women and water and whatever exercises. This discussion in such a groups, red herring, coming back to what I wanted to say, is can you accept yourself as a leader and being a leader that serves? And in German, we say Zuvorkommenheit, anticipating where the others want to go and lead them and help them. And like in a caravan in the desert, you're in charge for the people behind you, not just for the way to go, but that always the people behind you don't get lost. So anyway, I felt this is really very much resonating with what you were just saying.
Kayla, did my response make sense to you?
Yeah, if you're asking me, I think it's a great response. That's why I'm here. I like listening to you guys.
I
You guys
think
have
the
good
only example,
responses.
though, that I can think of in modern day leadership, off the top of my head, I'm not saying this is the only example that exists, but the only example I can think of off the top of my head is, and I looked her up, her name is Jacinda Ardern, the New Zealand president, who, after she said she did what she could to help New Zealand and the people, she voluntarily stepped down. She was not in that position to extend her influence, to extend her power, to extend, her empire. She just said, I did my job, I'm stepping down. That is a clear indication she was there just to serve the interests of New Zealand. How many other examples can we even point to? I cannot point to very many. Oh, by the way, I do think that Bernie is there to serve the people, not just Burlington, Vermont, but the entire United States. He never became president, unfortunately, because of corrupt dealings behind the scenes in the DNC. But he's the other example I can think of. How many others? Oh, maybe AOC. She hasn't yet
Yeah, I was
attained.
going to say AOC.
Yeah, yeah. She hasn't really attained that level of prominence and power yet, but I think she's doing a very good job. She and Jasmine Crockett, I think, um, are up and coming examples. But how come we don't have very many? All the ones we have that I can think of are these people who are power hungry, and the entire world seems to be, shifting towards these despots, these dictator wannabes, these autocratic people who want to operate outside the law just based on their influence and corruption.
I think you want to keep an eye on Mark Kelly.
Yeah, his name has come forth recently, but yeah, I'll take a look. He has to do more.
He had to
Kind
do
of person
more,
he
but
is.
he took a very bold first step.
But why did it take so long? There are thousands of other military leaders who could have spoken up before him. He waited very, very long before he spoke up, and then thousands of others, N-1 others, still haven't.
Well, but he's still a poster child when you recall that his wife was shot in the head and and um, and has recovered to some extent. Um, I think he's got a lot of social capital that he can build on.
Talk about social capital.
I don't
How
think
come?
Newsom should ever be allowed to run, but I can't, what can I say?
Oh, they're going to allow him to run, no question. But what about Colin Powell? He had some presence, but he unfortunately, went along with the old story about, weapons of mass destruction. He at one
Well,
time had social capital,
he did. But the fact is that he said it very clearly. I serve
pleasure,
the
yes,
pleasure of my commander in chief. So he was being very generally. He was the good soldier,
which is anti-oath.
of course.
I
But
guess
he got
people take
burned when
oaths,
they gave
and
him
it
fake.
doesn't mean a damn thing when people take an oath to the Constitution.
Well, his lesson was when he was sent to the UN, show pictures that were false, and he that caused him to just say it's time to retire. What's sad is that he passed away.
I'm just imagining the dozens or hundreds or thousands of military leaders, E6 or O6 and above, sorry, O6 and above, who, if they had said, hey, this is not legal, this is anti-constitutional, and if they actually were able to say, hey, we cannot follow this illegal command, that should have
Yeah,
been done years ago. And yet, the only thing they do, rather than say, hey, this is against the oath, the only thing they do is resign. Why? I don't understand that. Can't you do more than just resign?
I think Marjorie Taylor Greene should have switched parties now that she's seen the light and realized how naive and stupid she was.
Do you think she's seen the light, or is she just playing her own card game for future power?
Well, so that's an open question. I don't know, but the fact is that she is not running again, tells me that uh, something got to her.
She doesn't want to be a representative. She wanted to be a senator. She didn't get the Republican Party to support her in her senatorial campaign. And that's why, in my understanding, she's turning against this, constant homage to the dictator because she didn't get the support for her senatorial run. That is just a power move. It's not based on
Oh, so I wasn't
principle.
aware of that.
I can't say that she's a principled person. If she were a principled person, she never would have been a lackey to turd dump. That's my new name for him, by the way. I've injected a few extra letters into his name. So yeah, MTG does not merit being raised to any level of respect. She has to do a whole lot more before that is even considerable, in my view. Jasmine, on the other hand, she's well on her way. AOC is well on her way. Bernie is there. Speaking of which, by the way, Kayla, you rub elbows in Southern California with some leaders who are likely to emerge into the national arena. Can you spot who they might be? Or have you seen enough yet?
Perhaps in Ventura County, yeah.
Do you think that anybody there would succeed there and then emerge into at least state level notoriety and then potentially national level?
Yeah, yeah. One of them I'm friends with. But there's a thing about career politicians that I'm a little leery about. I think there should be, when it comes to democracy and power, and I don't even want to say power, but when it comes to politics and running things, I think there should be a healthy diversity. So I respect this person. I actually like him. But I still, the whole career politician thing makes me a little nervous.
Is it a little too suave, a little too smooth, a little
No,
too
I just
glib?
like the intention to serve. Just he needs a little bit more years. He's like not even 30. But his background is raised by a single mom, uh, Chicano, half Mexican, half
Would
white.
you don't have to, but would you care to identify him by name?
Yeah, his name is Atticus Reyes. He works for Senator Bennett or Assembly Member Bennett. There's also God, what is her name? I forget what her name is, but she's also. Uh, anyways, I'm sure I'll come up with it or something. I'm cutting these tangerines because I've been juicing my tangerines. My tangerine tree is blowing up. And whenever I juice my tangerines and I have like a sweet tooth, all I have to do is like drink the juice and it kills that sweet tooth and it's so much healthier for you. So caught me while I'm picking tangerines.
I do something with
Limon.
lemons, by the way, but we'll talk about that later.
Limon. Her name is Monique Limon. She's a good person too. I haven't looked really into her, but I've heard her speak.
There's some
She's
serendipitous. Jack, are
she's
you
also
familiar with?
Latino.
Sorry, go ahead, Kayla.
No,
She's
no.
also what?
Go ahead. Latino or Latina.
Atticus. Is he Caucasian? Is he Hispanic?
Half. He's half Hispanic, half white.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's about time for me to go fix breakfast, so I'll say ta-ta.
Thanks, Jack. I was about to ask you a question, but I'll save it for next time.
Well, go for it.
Well, we'll see. I had asked Kayla whether she was aware of people who might emerge into statehood or national prominence. I was wondering if you saw anyone who had that potential.
Not really. Like Kayla, the idea of career politician is a bad idea.
Well, okay, I agree with that sentiment. On the other hand, it also means that whoever does take office would then, if your principles apply, would almost always be an amateur. And most amateurs are
Eh,
not very good at what they do. They would have to learn on the job. So there's a certain effect and certainly a potential lack of efficacy or efficiency there.
Well, so we have this system of having legislative assistants, and those are the backbone of Congress. and states, and they're the ones that are supposed to take the amateurs and bring them up to speed. The problem is they have their own politics as well,
Exactly.
and so
Exactly.
I don't think this is a war we can win
Well, it ain't
until
gonna be
we change.
won until we get bribery out of politics.
Well, yeah, in which senator is going to ever vote for that?
Bernie?
Well,
Bernie would, yes.
Heiner?
maybe you need also the circle of elders. It is the
Yeah.
I love that idea.
advisory, the taking their own viewpoint out, and the Chinese had that in the bamboo circle, or the Greek Orthodox have it in Artos, that you serve. Only to remember, when the German Greens was founded, it was the main principle to have rotation. So nobody stays on job all the time and continues. And I have two friends, my sisters. One is much older than me. She stepped down after 5 years, and the other one stayed on for 20 years. And you see, we three always fight like in a good family, but this is the very difference in clinging to power and being a schemer. And I say to this lady, you learn from the boys to kick other out and control the agenda of the meeting and point and power instead of listening and coming to real conversations and encounters. So anyway, also again with you. And Jack, I have a recipe for your breakfast. I do it every morning. Maybe we have a recipe section or a session one day. It is really something where I also want to have Kayla's recipe from Korea, because I didn't get it when you said it in the beginning. But I don't want to hold you back for for breakfast, Jack.
Well, that's where I'm headed now. Thank you. Ta-ta.
Bye.
Bye.
By the way, this
By
is
the
a
way,
Filipino dish, not a Korean dish.
let me also say, and maybe it was Jack that I wanted to make sure heard this as well, but the idea of this notion of elders, Heiner, that you brought up, this village elders idea, or Kayla, I think you've mentioned it in the past as well. I have
Mhm.
as well. In the US, the closest to it was supposed to be the Supreme Court. They were supposed to be the people who had lived life, could actually, balance, justice, could see all sides of a situation, and were not, politically motivated, so they didn't have to worry about their next election, so that they could actually apply their principles fairly. That was supposed to be the Supreme Court. That was successfully subverted by the current administration. But that, I believe, was supposed to be the idea behind the Supreme Court. Now, it wasn't the rotational thing, other than that, hey, they would get replaced when they died. But just like, elders in a village, I don't necessarily think that they lose their voice unless they die. The village would always pay attention to these village elders, right? Anyway, that's what I think. And now that the Supreme Court has been corrupted, now we say, oh, well, we need this, but it was supposed to be that. I drove everybody away.
May I raise,
Again?
may I raise another point?
Yes, please do.
Have you heard about Thomas P. M. Barnett, the new Pentagon map and rule set reset?
No, I don't. But also, Heiner, are you far away from your microphone now? Because I was a little bit garbled. Maybe for me. Maybe that's my
Okay.
problem.
So his name is uh, Thomas P. M. Barnett. He wrote the new Pentagon map as a book called Blueprint for Action. And this is when I cite Washington Post. Barnett is the most influential defense intellectual writing these days. And I would say now, which is 25 and more years later, he's the most influential war intellectual today. So I'm really struggling with his legacy and impact in the negative sense, but because for me, whatever he did then was something like a stencil after September 11 to really implement and form groups to do the rule set reset. And about this rule setting and rule set resetting, I'm very concerned about after I learned about such groups in America, in Washington. So you see, I'm speaking now a little bit more freely, but I don't care and I don't mind.
Why do otherwise? Okay, Thomas Barnett, political thinker, political writer. Okay, Heiner, since you've been around a few more decades than I have, what leaders can you think of who are truly representing service to community, service to people, service to citizens, rather than just trying to magnify their power grab? Can you think of anyone who serves in those leadership roles
Well,
in the good way?
I think it was Willy Brandt.
Really?
My wife got an amnesty uh, through him. So I know a little bit, and in German politics, it's the Social Democrats, but it's anyway an important movement. But I've been all my life across parties and unions and federations. But beside Willy Brandt, I'm blank at the moment. But I think it's a good question. I'll try to think about it.
Let me ask you about one, and that's because I don't know much about this person. What about, are you sitting down? What about Mikhail Gorbachev?
Indeed, too. I met him. I met him many times. I met his granddaughter. Jörg did with Reiser and Gorbachev um, films, and even, which is very important for me, um, who was it with a pale dot and
Carl Sagan?
GP? Yes.
Yeah, the reason I nominated him, potentially, I don't know much about him, is because he didn't seem to want to hang on to power. He did dismantle the wall. He did not, uh, let's say, continue his career in a power grabbing theme. So it looked like maybe he was doing the right thing, on the side of history. But I also know he's widely disrespected in parts of Russia and the old USSR.
Well, that is the same with Khatami in Iran. It is you get toppled or you stick your neck out like the giraffe phenomena. And this is how this dialogue among civilizations, the project we did with Kofi Annan and the Pope and all this were in there, was somehow taken off the agenda. But indeed, I believe it could have been all much more different. And I was a fellow with Genscher, who was with Gorbachev in these critical days in his dacha, who really were very concerned about the deals being done with the West without securing that also NATO needs to be there when the West is not there. And so if you see the evolution of the Soviet Union the last 30 years, then you see that there were lots of dreams and there were lots of right-wing falcons, brown, black people. If I take our German color scheme for political fractions and parties, fundamentalist, fascist, really erzkonservative, we say, which means maybe arch conservatives, that they were able to take over. And with Gorbachev, we met him with a Green Cross for a long, long time. I feel he's even superior to what Willy Brandt did.
Okay, so I'm glad you think there was reason for me to nominate him for consideration. Anybody in any other country?
Well, study Khatami. This is really very critical, possibly at this moment in Iran, because Iran is not having a blackout, but they have no water. They have no water since a couple of years, and these are really, really tough things for women, children, and other living things.
Would you put Gandhi on the list?
You see, I was with the Tagore Einstein Council, and Rabindranath Tagore, Thakur, they say in India, was the Pandit, and he was like a Maharaja, the elder, where Gandhi flew when Smuts helped him escape from South Africa, starting all this ecological and holistic thinking. I followed very much on the exchange um, between Gandhi and Tagore and the cultural and what happened after the British leaving India. So I'm really cannot tell you I'm fully with Gandhi. On my bed is a sign saying, "My life is a message," with a picture of him as a poor man. But the too nationalistic salt walk and whatever happened those days was one side, and the other side of the coin was Tagore trying to keep the religions together and the polyphony of the different tribes and cultures and religious sects and whatever they have or have had, and make something like a convivial coexistence, was something on the other side. I was too deep with the Tagore Einstein Council and Foundation in Shantinitikan in India that I have a clear, unbiased opinion. But I tell you, Gandhi tried his best. His elder, like Tagore, went to Einstein to visit him in Potsdam and Kaput before he got the first Asian receiving the Nobel Prize, to have the exchange with Albert Einstein, and having the daughter of Einstein going with him to the Tolstoy schools. And you have to see, Gandhi was in South Africa close to the Tolstoy schools. And why he left his wife, and that's always a big family and tribe, and being such an elder in the Bambuhain, red herring, coming back to what we said before, is for me very credible, because in these cultures the women stay with the grandchildren and serve and help their daughters. And in these old days, the boys or the grandfathers retired to be out of the game when they're not part of any service for the community anymore. Maybe we also need women now in these circles, I wonder. And with Zanan Perry and the Earth trustees, so not the Earth stewards, I think it is a role or it is an opportunity to make a community of all women and men sit together without any personal aspirations, and taking just their viewpoint out and serve the bigger picture. Sorry, again, a large large talk or sermon. I didn't mean to say that, but Gandhi and Tagore and all these traditions where people were serving, like in some regards also Harun al-Rashid with his 1001 Nights, were people in their culture, in their times, to really be this elder ruler.
You said quite a bit there. What I'm hearing is that there are a number of people you've nominated, and even though Gandhi was a national leader, we can't think of many other national leaders. Yeah, Tagore was not leader of a nation, as far as I understand. Einstein was not, although I do like both of them. and what they are saying for humanity. Of course, love Carl Sagan. He had a lot of wisdom. Put Baruch Spinoza there as well. These are people who were right principled and on the right path, but they were not national leaders. We can't think of many other national leaders this way.
Well, there were also schemers like Talleyrand. I read about 20 different autographies of Talleyrand in these difficult times in France with the revolution and after the revolution. Def Definitely, all this has to come and be thought together.
It's sad to say, you sort of put these ideas together with the fact that as far as studies go, what, 10 or 20% of people actually would be willing to speak up against autocracy and against illegitimate acts of government, but the other 80 or 90% will just go along. And it's that 80 or 90% of the silent, followers who give the despots and dictators their power. And of course, their votes in a so called democracy. Because these people don't think for themselves, they just follow. Following is comfortable, it's accepted. You're not criticized when you follow the masses. If you believe you're one of the safe, quote unquote, majority that's not going to be oppressed by the autocracy. They may not be as oppressed as certain minorities, but they're certainly not respected by autocracies and autocrats and dictators. They're just pawns, they're just tools, they're just labor. And that 80 or 90% are just very willing to be used as tools, as pawns, as labor.
Well, if you play chess, then you know there are also knights and there's a king and a queen. So you should really see the whole gambit, the whole game. I was really intrigued by being in China about the original chess game because all the figures are more embodied, more real. And this discussion about chess being invented in China or India, I am opposing all these experts who believe it was invented in India. I think this is wrong. I myself developed in the early 70s a three parties chess game. So it's a hexagonal structure where three parties have the same figures and they mingle in the middle, and it's very, very complicated. We call it the third party law, but we played it for years in my chess students home group, and with the same rules like in chess, but not silent between two people fighting, but with three people having the same opportunities. And the role is only when you take over the king, you get his army, and everything is open. So you can make a public agreement or send a silent little piece of paper on the table under the table with your tactics, strategies, and Strategema. So anyway, again, I have drunk a lot of red wine. I better call it a night.
Thanks for joining, Heiner. Thanks for your thoughts. Thanks for your perspective. Thanks for your references. I'll treat some of those as homework.
Cheers, Heiner.
Bis später. And so there were two.
Yeah. How are you doing? I didn't hear your check-in if you had one.
I don't know if I did have one. I'm really surprised how we have not talked about the murder that happened this week.
Yeah. I was expecting to walk into that, but yeah.
You think any reasonable person could say, oh, this is not a murder?
A reasonable person?
Yes.
No, can't think of one.
And do you know that within minutes, Christy Nome was out there saying, oh, this woman was a domestic terrorist trying to kill an ICE agent?
Oh man. Told you she's a bimbo.
No, bimbos are, at least, from my understanding, not by definition
Evil?
cruel.
Yeah, you're right.
Bimbos are not by definition evil.
Yeah. Well, I've started the passport process for Max.
Oh, good.
I'm hoping that Penny just does a notary because I don't want to drive to the valley because we both have to be there for the to sign, but he can notarize it for additional signatures for or as an additional thing if he can't make it. But anyway, I'm just happy that Max is getting his passport renewed, just in case, you know. Plus, it'd be awesome to just get out of this country for a little bit,
You think?
even if it's
Yeah.
for like a week or two. You know.
I'll start with a week, start with a month, see where it goes. That's what I'm
Yeah,
going to do. I'm going to start with a month
I'm
or
just very
3.
attached to my dogs.
Yeah, I've got dogs here myself.
The only thing.
Yeah, if it weren't for them, I could actually move faster.
Yeah, exactly. How's your to-do list going?
Oh, man. Well, let me tell you something that actually was one of the items on my to-do list, but it actually did an interesting set of events this week. For 4 days on my reference investing account, I've been red. In other words, I've had a total loss, and I've got lockouts in place where if I lose $200 in one day, I don't get to trade that account anymore. So this week I had 4 days of lockouts. So I thought, geez, nothing's coming together. I don't understand what's going on. Blah, blah, blah. I should give this up. It's not ever going to work. But then I had 2 other accounts, which I'd been saving until I actually got some consistency. But I said, I don't want to sit around and waste another day or two while I'm locked out. Let me see what I can do with these 2 accounts.
Right.
And On one, I got up about 329 bucks. On another, I got up about 500 bucks. So if I subtract the 200 from my reference account, I'm still up over 600 bucks that one day,
Nice.
Friday, which isn't going to make a career, but it's a way better step forward than I had been doing before.
Right.
And I was trying this new strategy, and at least on these two new accounts, which I'd been saving for the future, it really worked out yesterday.
Nice.
So, man, if I could get that level of consistency at least 2 or 3 times a week, I would be on the way. I can't expect to do that 5 days a week. That's unreasonable. But if I can do it once a week, then twice a week, then 3 times a week, then 4 times a week, see if I can get that level of progression going, that would be steps towards the right, at least financial security
right.
that I'm trying to put in place.
Nice.
So that happened. Let's see what else happened. I think I told you, right, that my rental agreement actually got signed about 2 weeks
Yep.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now I'm focusing on the units 2 and 3, which is this house here. And I would have been much faster moving things into storage, except that, man, the weather has not been very good.
Raining,
Yeah.
cold, all of the above.
Can you believe it rains up here in the Pacific Northwest?
Can I believe it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, sometimes there are stretches of weeks at a time where it rains every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for my lawn to get mowed because the grass looks kind of jungly.
You get Max to do it?
Nah, I have somebody come.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't have a lawnmower. I mean, I guess I could invest in one, but
it depends on how long you plan on staying. I think certain places will rent light motor equipment like that, right? Doesn't Home Depot or Lowe's rent small engine appliances and tools?
yeah, but I don't. It doesn't need that much, I don't know. It'd be a better investment if I bought it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's awake. Hold on.
Okay. Let's take
Hey,
a.
Max, look what I made. It's really good too. I'll send you a video of my auto scaldo so you can
Yeah,
get
tell Max
jealous.
if he doesn't want it, I'll take it.
Sam said if you don't want it, he'll take it. Well, you got to eat before you go to practice.
I know I'll eat it.
Yeah.
3 to 7 hours of
No.
practice is going to take some energy.
Yeah, that's 7 hours today, 7 hours tomorrow. Hopefully hopefully my little stab in the group chat made them think. And it's not just burnout for the kids, it's burnout for the coach too. I mean, I'm sure they're kind of tired of yelling at the kids or making them do it over and over. Or one of the coaches in LA, so I'm pretty sure he's tired of driving all the way over here. So you got to think about yourself too.
Are the coaches in it for the kids, or are they in it for their own selves?
I'm pretty sure one of them for sure is in it for the kids too. But they love what they're creatives. I was explaining that to Max yesterday. Like most creatives that I know, they don't have business sense, time management, all of the above. That's why like going into competition with Nona Cena was very successful because you had the entire family. You had the grandma who started it all. and passed it down to her daughter, and daughter passed it down to her kids. And then so there's that intergenerational aspect of it where the grandma, it still goes to the studio, still has her 2 cents, makes costumes, the mom coaches, and then the son is choreographing. And so then like the younger generation become the creatives, they're the ones directly in line with it. But then like you've got Auntie Ricky, who is the daughter of the grandma, and she like had respect for the kids, had respect for families, and said, you don't have to stay past 7 for competition. If it was weekend, if it was on the weekend and we were doing 10-hour practices, like the kids didn't have to stay past a certain hour. They were always allowed a longer break. There was always flexibility. There wasn't too much in terms of perfection. So that's why it worked in Tahitian dance.
That's good to hear, because there are some families where you couldn't say that.
Yeah. No, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. That's why I learned so much from this particular dance group, because it wasn't just a dance group. It was, a family. It was a culture. It was leadership. It was, ancestors honoring. It was dance. It was language. It was history.
I like the fact that you brought that up, because, the arts and co-creating arts with groups teaches us so much. I don't know if I mentioned to you, probably have, that in June of 2005, I wrote a blog article, a short one, but it was called Everything I Know About Management I Learned as an Orchestra Conductor.
Yep. I
And
believe
I still
that.
refer that blog to others from time to time. And most business people don't have any idea what I'm saying. I didn't
Yep.
expect people to really understand. But if you haven't been in a group where you have, like in dancing and in music, you're not just adjusting in meetings and retrospectives. You're adjusting based on real-time perception and real-time interaction and real-time balancing.
Yeah.
Most business people don't have that quickness of awareness and responsiveness.
Yep. I gotta start listening to these sessions so I could extract what you've been saying and put it on LinkedIn. I need a book of Samisms. I feel like you should be a public speaker. You're really good at articulating a lot of things.
Hey, Kayla, I would, and I could do it if you're my marketing coordinator, my PR coordinator, my CMO, okay?
Oh
My chief
man.
champion officer.
I'm gonna take a picture of this beautiful picture, and then I'll send this to
I'm
you
going to be
too.
very envious if you send it to me.
I like making you jealous.
I will be
Only when it comes
envious.
to food. Let's see. Oh, I love it.
Every time you post a picture, I always am. You haven't posted as many steaks, lately. You used to years ago.
I know. It's because there's not too many sales on steaks. And, remember the porterhouse steak that I would make because there was like a sale on it all the time.
I remember at least one
Oh
of
my
those
God, it was
pictures,
fucking
like
awesome.
what, 5 or 6 pound hunk of steak or something like that.
God, the boys got so spoiled. Like, porterhouse steak again? I mean, they didn't say that, but you're like, well, they didn't get as
Yeah.
excited about steak after a while.
They don't know what they're getting.
Well, it's just like my dad with his filet mignon, which, by the way,
Yes.
I know how to cook a good filet mignon.
Oh,
And Max is excited because I know how, but unfortunately, the filet mignon has not been on sale lately either. But it was once in Costco, and it was just beautiful.
okay. In 30 seconds, how do you prepare filet mignon?
I prepare it more just like a porterhouse steak. I sear it on the outside, um, and it's very plain. I use butter.
Uh-huh.
So I sear it on the outside and then put it in the broiler and broil it.
Hmm.
And it's extremely juicy.
And you stick a
Oh yeah.
thermometer in there until what temperature?
I just do it by time. I don't
Oh,
have a
okay.
thermometer. Yeah, I don't do any of that. But it always turns out delicious. My dad always, you know, did by timing. One thing that my dad said, and this does not apply to all steaks, but it applies to like a New York steak, for instance, where the cut is like, if it's like a 1 inch New York steak, then it could definitely apply to this. But he said is as soon as it starts getting a little bloody on the top, when you're frying it, then flip it over. And then if it gets a little bloody, then on the other side, then it's done. And then you cut into it and it's like a medium rare.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The
oh,
one
and then I
time I
like to
was
baste. Oh, go ahead.
no, no, no,
Tell
no.
me.
What do you use to baste?
Oh, just the butter.
Yeah,
I don't know
butter's
why,
great
but
on
it
steak.
just, oh, yeah.
You can't cook steak without butter.
No, exactly. And
Uh,
I'm when it comes to fat, like I'm okay keeping the fat there because it gives it flavor.
yep, yep, yep.
Not too much fat, obviously, then it gives you a headache. But
Do you cook with lard?
no, I cook with ghee and butter.
Mm, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Because when I stir
Was
fry or make anything on the stove now, it's what is that? Extra virgin olive oil and butter. I use both.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's what I do with my porterhouses.
Have you tried avocado oil?
Uh-huh. It's just,
I
I think
have
it
some.
burns a little too fast.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't use it often
Yeah,
because you got to
same
keep the
here.
heat low.
Yeah, it's good.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Personally, man,
Olive
avocados
oil is the best.
extra virgin. When Jack and
Yes.
I went to Dubrovnik, and I met Professor Yuzuru Tanaka-san. I remember he would always come to Dubrovnik or that particular region and always buy one or two bottles of really, really high quality extra virgin olive oil to take back to Japan.
Mm,
I remember
yum.
little trivial details like that.
I'm drinking my orange juice because I'm getting hungry. Just by what we're talking about.
I love orange juice, but people tell me, hey, it's too high glycemic, so I've been cutting down on it.
Really?
And yeah, so I have to
Well,
research that some more. I understand there's
better
sugar
than
in there, but
it's better than chocolate covered pretzels, in my opinion. That's
absolutely.
another thing I can eat.
Yep. Yep.
Rather
Oh,
have orange juice than chocolate covered pretzels.
in the research that I've been doing, I've been
Uh-huh.
very impressed by the kind of places that you could potentially quote unquote buy in Thailand. But if
Uh-huh.
I switch focus and I look at really, really old but renovated, small, apartments or small farm homes, Italy actually looks pretty damn attractive also. As long
Mm.
as you don't want to live or need to live directly in a big city.
Yeah.
And I would prefer not to live in a big city myself. I
Well,
don't
as long
mind
as there's a
driving one or
road
two
to the
hours.
hospital.
Yeah, well, if I die, I die. But I don't mind driving an hour or two to get to, a big city or the beach or, mountains. I don't mind that at all. So some of these farmhouses that are just out there on their own, and they're all stone
Mhm.
farmhouses, both in Italy and in France. They're all stone farmhouses. So the insulation's pretty damn good. Some of those walls are thick, like, more a foot or more thick.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't build houses like that anymore. Yeah, those things are literally rock solid. Literally.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so the more research I do, the more I know that buying property in Thailand is a bit tricky because you can't actually buy land. When you buy something in Thailand, you're buying the structure, but you're only leasing the land for like 30 years. Now, personally, probably not going to live more than 30 years, but it is something to consider, as far as deploying assets that you might want to pass on.
Yeah,
So that's something I've been thinking more about this past week.
nice.
Have you been to some of Eastern Europe? Any of
No,
the
I've never been to
countries?
Europe.
You never have?
I
Oh, child.
know. I've always gone to tropical places. So
Actually, if you had taken the budget you spend at Disneyland,
I know. That's what I was thinking.
but these companies keep coming up. Montenegro, Latvia, Albania, Estonia, really, really. Oh, and Cyprus. They all have really interesting scenarios. So there's a bunch of places where I'd want to say, hey, I spent a week or a month here, then a week or a month there, a week or a month there. There's like 8 or 9 places where I want to do that now before I really decide where to settle down.
I told my kids if they had ever wanted to study abroad, I would pay for a year of studying abroad.
I wish I had done that. I didn't even ask my parents for that because I knew they couldn't afford it, but I would have
Aw.
loved to do that.
I won a scholarship to study abroad.
Ah,
Yeah. I
was
won
that
a
where
two
you
thousand
first went to
dollars
Costa Rica?
scholarship.
Costa
Well,
Rica?
it's not when I first went to Costa Rica, but it was for Costa Rica.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was motivated by a guy.
Ah, there you go. That explains
Like a
it.
dumbass.
What did you like about this particular guy?
Actually, he's probably one of the only men that I've ever loved that I still like, think highly of.
Oh, very good. So
Yeah.
there are some decent, maybe one or two, maybe one decent men in the world.
I'd like to say there's more.
Wait, so is he married now?
Um, no, but he's been in the same girl for a very long time. So I don't think he's ever going to get married. I'm that kind of guy that he has professed his love to the same girl for a very long time. Even though he told me once that he wishes we had children together.
See, he's still holding out for you, Kayla.
Yeah, right. But
He
I have to
is.
say that it would have been fun to have children with him
Okay,
because he's
Kayla,
a very good dad.
here's my standard offer. What's his phone number?
Yeah, no. He's also a cheater, so
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
yeah.
You can be a cheater and still be a good guy? Interesting.
Yeah, there's people have their faults. I don't know. That's like something that he needs to work on. I don't agree with him doing that to another girl, but if the other girl knows that that's what he does and is okay with it, then, kudos to them, I guess. Some
Well, if
women
she was
are
okay
actually
with
okay
it,
with that.
then he could have been more upfront about it, right? Rather than not.
Well, he was a cheater to me.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. And he was not upfront about that, I'm assuming, because that's what cheating
No,
means.
no, he actually let it slip out. I got so mad. Anyways, I know we're being
Interestingly,
recorded.
oh well, it's all in the past.
Interestingly, interestingly, what?
When I was in college, I had a girlfriend, and about 6 months into our relationship, she confessed that the previous night she'd actually gone back to her ex-boyfriend and cheated on me.
Wow.
And I don't know if I did the right thing, but I was forgiving.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that didn't last very long. Lasted actually for college, it did last about a year and a half or two, which felt like a while. But I think she broke it off because she finally decided I was too young for her.
Oh, okay.
She was 4 years older than me. I was 17 when it started. She was 21.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought you said 40. I was all, oh,
40? No, 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 no.
dang. Wow. Yeah.
In fact, it was her golden retriever when she finally went to Brown University and she couldn't take her golden retriever. I had that golden retriever for 2 years.
Mm.
And that's the golden retriever that went to class with me every day of school for 2 years.
Aw.
No leash, never a leash. I rode my bike. He ran alongside me and he would attend all the classes with me and sleep at my feet. And, if he woke up, he would just go and say hi to all the other students and the professor. Not once did I ever get a complaint about that.
Wow.
Such a good dog. I didn't even own a leash for this dog.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what got me very biased about golden retrievers.
I'm sure.
Mhm. And I so much wanted that experience for each of my kids, but universities these days,
Yeah.
so many rules, so many can't do's. So sad.
So what have you got going on in the next week or so?
Well, if the weather's better, I got to start organizing my stuff and putting it into storage, and then giving away a lot of furniture, and then replacing carpet and putting in some more composite flooring. I don't like carpet. And then replacing the appliances. This will all take a month or two. And I got to do that for the downstairs, and then think about doing that for the upstairs. And then if I've got the budget to do all that in the next couple of months, then I could think about going somewhere. I was
Yeah.
hoping I'd be able to do that by February, but right now February still looks very aggressive.
Yeah,
It'll
that's a lot.
probably be
You've got a lot
March or
going on.
April. Yep. But if I can do all that, I got a list of places where I want to spend a week or a month at a time and really get to know the area, the food, the people, the climate, the customs, the language, the feel, the vibe, the pace. Yeah, I'd really love to immerse myself, in some places like that.
Yeah.
I remember we talked before about the fact that I don't like these vacations where you sort of plan everything to the minute. I like just going there and just saying, okay, so what am I going to do today? What am I going to do tomorrow? Who can I meet today? That's the
Right.
sort of thing I like to do. I did that the last 2 times I went to Taiwan. You don't see as many places, but you definitely get a better feel for the place.
Nice.
Mhm. Like I enjoy just walking up and down, city blocks and just looking at, oh, here's a bookstore. Oh, here's a store that sells scrolls, or here's one that sells drums. Here's one that sells puppets. Here's one that sells masks. And that's all in the same block in Taiwan.
Mm,
Really cool.
yeah.
And then, of course, every place you go, there's all these street stalls of food.
Right.
So within just like a couple 100 yards, you can sample just about all the food you want.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll bet that's like heaven.
Oh man.
Uh,
And they're not that expensive.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's a great place to people watch too. Oh, you know what's funny? Nowhere else have I seen, other than in these what is it? Night markets in Taiwan. I see
Mhm.
couples pushing around these carriages, and if I look in the carriage expecting to see a cute baby, no, it's a dog or a cat. Okay?
Oh.
And it's not just once. Every
There
time I
are
go out, it's
those
like half a
people.
dozen of them.
Yeah. Those people.
And it's just like, matter of fact, it's just normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Oh. Anyway, so I think that's my plan for the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months, if I can manage to make all that happen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think that by the end of 2025 was possible, but man, I sure hope it's going to be in the next 2, 3 months.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Mhm. What about you? What's on your glide path?
Oh, well, um, I have that presentation for Angel City on Wednesday.
Ah,
Um,
that's right. That's right.
so I have a staff meeting on Monday, the presentation for Angel City on Wednesday. I have two
Mhm.
meetings I have a meeting with Melissa again. I had a meeting with her on Friday. I have a meeting with her again next Friday. And then I have an interview with Habitat for Humanity. This is going to be um, my second interview, quite possibly my last too, on Friday.
Mhm.
So, or maybe even Thursday. I don't remember. I have to take a look. So, um, there's 2 months to our annual fundraising event is March 7th with United Parents, and we've got 2 months to go. I started planning that event, and then when my dad died, or when he got sick, I kind of slowed down a little bit, and then he passed away, and I was just completely, you know, not into anything for a good 2 months. So, anyways, now that I'm back in the groove, I was able to secure, let's see, 17,000 dollars in sponsorships, $17,500 in sponsorships,
Mhm.
which is probably the most we've ever raised for this fundraising event. Because United Parents I started their first fundraiser in 23. That's when I pitched myself to become the development director. And let's see, we raised 5,000 the first year. The second year was a wash because I stupidly let other people who don't know anything about fundraising assist with that. And then the third year was 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be our 4th year, I think. Yeah. I don't know, 3rd year. I don't know, whatever. I'm like hard for me to count years right now. But the 3rd year was another like 5K, and then last year was close to 10K. But the return on investment kind of dropped last year. And it's just like, it's been really difficult to build out the whole development portion of United Parents. But this year I finally kind of wisened up, and like I said in my committee meetings and my approach now, I just am telling people what to do. I'm telling people what's up. Clearly I'm not getting any support, so I just have to like lead and do what I know and make decisions, without the weight of inexperienced people. So the good part is I'm actually enjoying it. I enjoyed securing $17,000 within a month, and enjoyed planning out certain steps and looking at the year to come, even though I could possibly not be working for United Parents in the year to come. But it's kind of made me think. It made me think about my conversation with you, initially about Melissa. And it also kind of made me rethink, some of the decisions I've made in the past month in terms of jobs. Now, the good news is I know I've got my options. I know I'm very close to securing a job with Angel City, which is going to be like a really big jump in my salary if I even get the job. But I'm also a little like concerned that I'm going to be possibly wasting my time, 4 hours in total, driving there, presenting, coming back, and then not get a job. And then, so there's that. There's also other organizations who are interested in the work that I do. And so I could quite possibly position myself for a better experience that's a lot closer to home, or something that's fully remote. So it's just a lot on my mind in terms of my future. It's kind of nice to have these like options. So I just have to, when the time comes, I have to make a decision. But
it's awesome to have those options.
Yeah. So I did a second interview with an organization called Salted Roots, and it was really nice to talk to 2 young women in leadership, who one of them is LGBTQ as well. They're very articulate. They're very business savvy. And it was very refreshing to listen to them. They're also very strategic and organized. This position would be fully remote, and their whole mission is providing, surf lessons and experiences with women of color and youth. So more or less the marginalized community, even though it's open to everybody, that's their focus. So I thought that was really cool. And in addition, with the youth, they also teach leadership and stewardship of the land. They're also involved in environmental issues. And I believe they started not too long ago. So that was really nice to see. When you look at their website, they're a bit hippy dippy, but then talking to, the people who run it, it's kind of cool. So that was cool.
So what's the position that's possible with them?
The development director position. That would be me.
All right. So it's all still that. Okay.
Yeah. So I sent them a thank you, and I mailed them a thank you letter or a thank you note, and then I sent them a thank you email, and then asked to be considered as a finalist, because they said that their finalist would, it'd be kind of like a written thing again. I don't know where these people whatever happened to the standard, like they're asking people to write a bunch of stuff, present things. Oh my gosh.
They're asking you to do work before they decide to hire you.
Yeah. And then there's the Habitat for Humanity, which is great because they have a fantastic brand. When I spoke to them, the the position is hybrid. It's here in Ventura County, so it's in Oxnard, and it's a good 15 minutes away from me, so not too far at all. And it's hybrid again, so I could work remote, and then I could work in the office too. The pay is not significant, but it's definitely better than United Parents. And the CEO is a Black man. I actually liked him. Like, he was a good person. And anyways, I did well, I think, with them too. So, you know, I don't know. I am like, a part of me almost feels like I should just decline altogether, withdraw my application with Angel City. But I mean, I kind of came a little far, so
Yeah, now's not a good time to withdraw that. Let them
yeah,
figure out what they want to do.
yeah, yeah.
Hell, I put in at least 5 minutes on that recommendation.
I know. Yeah, I know. So
Note for the reference, okay? It was a little bit more than 5 minutes, okay, just for the record.
yeah. But you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my brain take a break, not stress
Mhm.
out. I'm going to take my time, do my priorities, and truly utilize my strengths for this interview. I'm not going to like overthink it. I'm just going
Mhm.
to let my brain take a rest, not put it into that, fight or flight mode.
Mhm.
And when I present, I am just going to be myself.
Well, if you've got other options, they won't smell desperation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then I also am doing work for another organization that I'm only writing appeals for them. I'm writing 2 appeals. So they've contracted me for 3 months. In fact, I have to send them my W-2 or my W-9. And, you know, anyways, I just have to send them some stuff so they could pay me, because that was our agreement. They have to pay me up front before I do any work for them.
Good.
Yeah. So now I have Disneyland money again. Although I'm going to save it this time. I'm just going to sit back, be a mom, maybe try my hand at growing some vegetables and fruits since I'm beginning to enjoy it. Cook, and whatever my kids want to do, I'm going to support them until they leave the nest. So if Max wants to compete and he's got competition in Pasadena or Long Beach or wherever, then I'm going to use my Disneyland money to support that.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Is it after 10 already?
Is it? Oh yeah, 10-12.
I just saw that. Not that, we need to quit, but I was just thinking that, what was I thinking? If I brought up another topic, we could probably go quite a bit on that one. So I think I'll wait for
Yeah.
tomorrow to do that.
Yes, definitely wait for other people to chime in.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've done
It's
enough
kind of cool
talking.
that, no, it's kind of
Yeah.
cool, for example, that Heiner and Jurg, felt that there was a worthy conversation, and Heiner's bringing new friends to this forum, and Jörg seems to enjoy it, and now Heiner wants to bring his friend Franz. So I like that. People like Heiner have been really trying for decades, probably 4 or 5
Yeah.
decades, and I've been trying for a decade and a half, and it's not easy to get smart people to work together. That's why there's so many smart people problems that prevent collaboration. But in those cases where people actually do seem to at least engage well, That's a good start.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Nice
know,
to see
in
Heiner.
particular, the thing that I want to bring up for tomorrow is what you said about leadership and about taking the lead. So I'm just going to leave that as a teaser. I have a question as a follow up on that one, but that could be for next session.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Enjoy it.
Did you already
Thank you,
send your
Sam.
breakfast picture to me?
No, I'm gonna do it as soon as we hang up. I've got a breakfast video. It's not just a picture, a video, and then I've got a picture of my freshly squeezed orange juice for you.
Nice and pulpy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
good.
Yes. I like the pulpy orange juice.
Yeah.
All the fiber.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, Kayla. Hope to engage again tomorrow. Say hi to the kids.
Sounds
And
good.
thank you.
You got it.
Bye for now.
Bye.